Return, peaches return.
Let's talk about real life issues, love and relationships. Let's have a good time with the missus. Let's talk about celebrities. Let's talk about current events. Let's talk about things you don't see on regular TV. So join in on PGT Time. PGT Time. Tune in on PGT Time. PGT Time. Come join us on PGT Time. PGT Time. Join us on PGT Time. PGT Time. Yeah.
In order for y'all to do what God is calling y'all to do, to take y'all platform for it to plateau and it can go to levels that you never seen, don't best believe it's gonna come with devils.
You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. You know, I don't want them to be like they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. But I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody going to clean it up.
Hey, here we are, back to the beginning. I feel like we finished. You feel like I'm tripping. I let you in before, so now you wanna know the difference. You got a baby boy now, how you getting? And I don't really feel a way about it, though I had to find out the way I did. You think it didn't matter when it did, like you didn't use every room in the crib, yeah. The apartment where my ex did live. We was young when we met. I said what I meant. You could have said anything to stop me, but you didn't, so I left. And we never got right. You a psychopath, but I was still right. You take me high, I let you slide through. Then I don't hear from you for a year or two. Lately you've been acting like you hate me. You don't wanna rush right into dating, but it's been 9 years, why you faking? I get it if you want them in relations for the sake of your creation, but you're a fairy tale, a figment, and you ain't got a lie to kick it. What did I do for you to be so vindictive? You know that I'm the one that you gon' be missing. I guess that I'm the weekday, cause I know I'm not the weekend. I do not appreciate being kept your little secret. I give it to you, you never keep it. Thought I was your number uno, but you played the skit. Skip till we fall, skip till we fall and break. Skip till we fall, skip till we fall and break.
Hey, what a button. There you go. There you go. There you go. It's your girl, the missus with the kisses, baby. Mwah. And who gonna clean it up? Who gonna clean up this dirty mess? Me and Jason. And Poolie too. Poolie on his own time. But Poolie, he gonna help clean it up too. So, but as of tonight, me and Jason, shout out to Tupac. Shout out to Tupac for that little intro at the end of my little intro. I found that on another young lady's platform. Shout out to Milagro Graham. So that's where I had got it from years ago. She used it. And I've been using it ever since. So shout out to Tupac for that. I gotta make sure I bring out the person that's gonna help me clean up this dirty mess. Mr. Jason. Jason is in the building. Yes.
Yeah. What's good with y'all? Welcome in. I see y'all out in the building. Everybody's pulling up. We got Carmen already here. Look at Carmen all in her red. What up, though? Joe said,
We'll go back. Look, Carmen. What's good? Look at her.
Hey, I see
She's
it.
Looking beautiful.
Right, out here. Hey, before we start anything, though, I want to do this. Big shout out and big love to all of our graduates of 2023, man, all the way from high school to college. Everybody that did their thing this year, shout out to you guys. But again, man, if you guys want to make sure that you follow us on all platforms. So not only here, but we over on Twitch. We also over on YouTube, and we also here on Facebook on multiple pages. You dig me? But not only that, you can go ahead and watch us on Roku TV. That's right. If you go ahead and download on your Roku television, PGT Time, and that's time spelled with the Y, you'll be able to find us on that platform as well. So pull us up, watch us on your new 55, all the way up to your 100. So if you got anything in between there, put us on your TV. You feel me? But we'd like to say thank you, and we see y'all. Oh. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Obviously, so when we pop up, you already get the notification. You hear me? You under dig?
And I ain't even pay him to say all that.
Not at all.
Shout out to I ain't had to pay him. Shout out to I ain't had to pay him.
I want my money. Give me my free photo shoot. Yeah.
You so crazy. You so crazy. So, excuse me, y'all. I'm still trying to get over this cold. I'm sure that you guys can hear it. Still a little stuffy. The sneezing has gotten so much better. The coughing has slightly went away. I'm just dealing with it at nighttime. So y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me. Jason, wait, Jason?
No, Carmen, she said up to 63 3/4 and still fly.
I thought Jason was saying something. He was
saying
something.
Nothing about that.
But I'm so glad that y'all are here tonight. We have a story for y'all tonight. It will go a little different. Tonight. May I add just as well. We do have a family. We have the family of Derwin Osbourne. Shout out to Derwin Osbourne.
Shout out to Derwin.
Yes, that's the young man that you guys see behind me and Jason at this time. He is incarcerated. And we have audio. He's going to explain to us what happened. So that's why I say things are going to be a little different tonight. So we're going to play the audio. We had to break it up into 4 different clips. You know, I want to make sure I'm honest with everybody. So we had to break it up. So in between, we will be talking about it just as well. And then after we're done with the audio, we have some documentation. We got some documents, baby. We got some documents that we have to show you all just as well. Now, before we get into all of that, I have to say, if y'all been watching on my personal page, I told y'all need to get in on the personal page, okay? If y'all been watching on my personal page, you know that I have a huge announcement. This is for the city of Saginaw, Michigan. City and state. My peoples. My peoples. You know, sometimes you got to start at home. You know, don't forget where the hell you came from. Right,
100%,
Jason?
100%.
Yeah, you can't forget where you came from. So I have a huge announcement for Saginaw, Michigan. Make sure y'all tune in. I want everybody to tune in. I don't care where you're from, because this announcement will be affecting other cities and states just as well. Sure will. So tune in Monday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time for this huge announcement for the city of Saginaw. Sag nasty. BV. Sorry, Jason. Jason be like, you just know too many people. You just know
that part. You know everybody. Everybody.
And this was even before PGT time, baby. Before PGT time, I know a lot of people. A lot of people know me. That's why I'm out here and I can do what I do, Jason.
I see it.
So let's get started with this show. Again, thank you all so much. Shout out to Les Riley. Skip was the name of that video that we played at the beginning of the show. So shout out to her. Y'all can go find her on all platforms. Les Riley, Riley. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. We about to pull up our guest for tonight, who has graced us with their presence. So we gotta start with the one and only, the lovely Miss Kay. Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you? Hey, Peachy. Hey, Jason. How y'all doing tonight?
Wonderful.
We are fine. Girl, you over there looking all gorgeous and everything.
Thank you.
time, baby.
I am. The first thing I want to say is just thank you. Thank you for everything that you're doing. It means so much to us. You out here helping families, helping people, and I can't thank you enough for that. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much.
Do.
I ain't pay her for that either. I ain't pay her for that.
She did not. She did not pay me.
But no, Kai, thank you so much. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that. When people come on and say stuff like that, it goes a long way. It's never unnoticed. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
Now, tell us about Derwin. How do you know Derwin? Is you gonna let us know?
Derwin is my brother. He's my biological brother. We are 13 years apart. Okay. So, it's a big age gap. He was always, one thing I can say about him, he was always a loving person. He was the type of person that would give you the shirt off his back. That's who he was. He had like a little nickname for me. He called me like, come on, Bookie, whatever I wanted, it didn't matter what I was. He like, whenever he see me, he like, come on, we gonna go, what you want? You want ice cream? You want this? You want that? Come on, we gonna go get it. Come on, we doing this. So he's just a very loving person. First and foremost, I want everybody to know that about him. He has the biggest heart ever. Anybody around him, he's gonna give you his last. He call you family friend, he gonna go hard for you. That's the type of person that he is. So he wound up getting himself into some trouble, over the years and everything like that. He is originally, my family is not from the United States. They are from, the island of Barbados. So he came here as a small child, and I'm growing up, like any child. I mean, people, kind of get into trouble, and he just got himself kind of mixed up, in some trouble, and it progressed into this type of situation. And, he got into the system, and when the system get their hands on you, it's kind of like they don't play fair. Exactly. They don't play fair.
Exactly.
They don't play fair. And he got caught up in a very unfair situation.
And we're going to hear from him. From him. It's not going to be no he say, she say. Everything is coming from him. Of course, we always have to say on every show of PGT Time, allegedly. Everything is allegedly in explicit language. We have to say that on every show. But we have Derwin. He be like, nah, I don't need nobody to speak for me. Damn it.
That's it.
So we're going to hear what he has to say. But next, we're going to pull up Mr. Trap. Here is Mr. Trap. Now, Trap, tell us, how you know Derwin?
Derwin is my brother-in-law.
All right. Shout out to Trap, baby. So, Kai is your wife?
Yes, ma'am. My beautiful wife. Yes, ma'am.
Hold on. Bye. He said, my beautiful wife.
Hey, go ahead. Brownie points for my guy. Go ahead, Trap. I see you, dog.
You're so crazy, Jason. But yes, brownie points. No, I'm just playing. Now, of course, by you telling us that Kai is your wife, and Kai already explained to us that she was 8 years old when all of this took place. So you didn't get the chance to meet Derwin as far as to grow up with him and all of that?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay. Now, have you seen him in person?
No, ma'am, I have not. Only pictures and phone conversations.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you, Mr. Trap, because you could have been like, I don't know him like that. I'm not finna get on this platform. I ain't finna say nothing. I will watch you from afar, baby. That's what you could have said. But no, you is backing your family up 100%. And I applaud you for that. Kai, I like to hit the applaud button. You will notice that throughout the show just as well.
I'm here for it.
I get a little carried away sometimes. Now, the next two people that we will be pulling up, you guys was able to see them both on last Wednesday when we spoke to Carlos, and that was Lamont's father. So he is a returning guest tonight, and also Mr. Shahid. He's a returning guest tonight just as well. So we're going to go ahead and pull them both up tonight at the same time. So we got Carlos and we got Mr. Shahid. Hey, Carlos.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Okay, Shahi, we might need you to turn whatever you got going on down up there because we ain't gonna do this. Okay, yeah, it's Mr. Shahi. Mr. Shahi, you're gonna have to turn your volume down. Whatever you listening to with us on the background, just turn the volume down. Kai's so funny. I love Kai. Y'all, it's a little inside thing, y'all. It's a little inside thing. Y'all know I don't just bring people up on Peach Tea Time. I always talk to them first. We always get to know each other first before we just, hey y'all. No, we get talking first. So Carlos, thank you so much for being a returning guest tonight. Is there anything that you want to say as far as in the beginning? Because I know you're gonna have a lot to say towards the middle of the show. But let us know how. That's what you could do. Let us know how you got the chance to meet, or not really meet, but talk to Derwin.
Well, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity to be on with you again. I got a chance to meet Derwin Osbourne through my son, Lamont Douglas, who's also incarcerated under difficult circumstances. I've been knowing Osbourne since 2020. I like to say 2020, 2005, 2006. And we've been communicating off and on since that time.
Okay. And Mr. Shaheed?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, how you doing tonight, Mr. Shaheed?
I'm good.
That's wonderful. Now, how did you become familiar with Derwin's case?
Through my work at Red Onion, through my working in the prison system at Red Onion. I've been knowing him since about 2011.
Okay. Well, again, I thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I'm just putting up some of the comments tonight so y'all can see. Kyra, that's it. Girl. They married, girl. They married. Let me go to the next one. Hurry up. Let me go to the next one. But yes, Trap, I probably should have said that too, because I sure said that your wife was beautiful tonight. Trap, you look very handsome tonight just as well. Mr. Shaheed, you look very handsome tonight. Carlos, you look very handsome tonight just as well. And Jason, so does you. Thank you. But let's get started, y'all. Let's get started. We are going to start with the videos, okay? So if anybody that's a guest on the panel tonight, if there's anything that you need to do at this time, you can go ahead and do it, because this is it's 12 minutes, but like I said, we're gonna do 2 at a time, okay? So 2 at a time, we give us some good amount of time. So if y'all need to do anything, now's the time, okay? But let's get started, y'all. This is Derwin, which is the guy that you guys see in the back, which is right here just as well. Derwin, he is incarcerated, and he didn't really want nobody to tell his story. Who can blame him? So he came on, and he's going to tell his story. So here we go.
No problem. All right, Derwin, can you tell me how did this first begin? How did you get locked up, and how the warrants came about?
I was locked up in June '93 in Brooklyn, New York, by the 70th precinct for a weapons charge, a pistol. They took a mugshot of me. An officer in the precinct looked at my injuries, the swelling of my head and face, gave me a copy of the mugshot for future reference for a civil lawsuit for what they did to me. I turned the mugshot over to my attorney at the time, and he kept it safe, was supposed to be keeping it safe. While going to court for the gun charge, which I did time for in Rikers Island, Virginia pops up and claims that I look like someone. The New York court dismissed 3 warrants to have me arrested. tell the court in Brooklyn, this is the guy that we want. So they had to bring me out because they described me. What saved my skin, in my view, is the fact that I was injured, my face was swollen, I had to go to the hospital for my injury because I blacked out. They took the photograph, I have a copy of the governor's warrant, and attached it to the governor's warrant. They took me to Virginia. When they took me to Virginia without my consent, they gave me a copy of a photo lineup claiming that this photo lineup was used to pick me out by a witness saying I killed someone. I have a copy of that. It's pitch black. The witness who claimed that picked me out September the 9th, 1992, using this same photograph, signed the photograph verifying she picked it out on that date. This is impossible. The photograph was taken by the 70th precinct in Brooklyn, New York, June 93, when I got locked up for the gun charge. It's a mugshot from Brooklyn. There's nowhere in the world anybody in Virginia can have that photograph 9 months before it was taken. So the witness in this case perjured herself. The second part is when I got down to Virginia and I had the preliminary hearing. They took me to a general district.
All right, y'all. This is part 2.
Court. Page 1 of my transcripts, you will see it say at the top, General District Court. Somebody penciled in case number 80911. There's no such docket number, no such case number, no such number system in that court. So the number of the case is a sham. On page 49, the General District Court tells the so-called defense attorney they've asked us to set a trial date. Plural word. Notice plural word us. The defense attorney says yes against mandatory statute 19.2241, where the circuit court must set trial dates, especially post-indictment. The attorney changed the dialogue on the judge and said, I get upset about what they asked you to do. The judge said us, but the defense attorney is saying you, singular. The judge on page 50 says, I get upset about that, but they asked us, plural, to do it. I have no jurisdiction. We try to get along. The prosecutor notices after the judge set the trial date for June 14, 1994, when I did go to trial, he said, jurisdiction on line 13 on page 50 of the transcript. The prosecutor notices the conflict between the so-called defense attorney and the judge. So he says, I might for the record, so Mr. Kidwell knows he's shutting the door on the defense attorney. You gonna ride with us or you not? This defendant has already been indicted by the grand jury, so the prosecution already knew what was going to happen. Then the judge responds, what jurisdiction do I have then at all? They knew what they were doing. I picked out these particular pages of the transcripts just to show a malicious and deliberate intent to do what they wanted to do. My innocence was not a matter. They did not care. That's my whole intent on using these particular transcript pages. In this preliminary transcript of April the 20th, 1994, on page 4, the judge stated, are there any other, then he stopped. And he redirected and said, I hate to use the word preliminary matters. So he knew from the outset that this whole proceeding was a sham. I have that too. I just didn't include it to confuse everything. I took out the most important part when the man said I have no jurisdiction and presented it to everyone to see. My innocence or guilty, my innocence or guilt is not a factor. They don't care. Any other questions?
All right, y'all. All right. So that was 2 clips. First and foremost, let me apologize for the static. But we all have to remember, he is incarcerated at this time. So we ain't gonna get no iPhone type audio. Okay. We ain't getting no iPhone type audio. But we were able to hear. We was able to hear what he was saying. Carlos is very
Yeah.
familiar with the case. Can you kind of break down a little about what we just heard?
Yes. Well, actually, Derwin Osbourne, he was actually trying to submit his petition or his motion for vacate of this proceeding, and through the courts, and he was sending his information in, but he wasn't getting a response. And he reached out to me and was telling me every time that he would send his motion in to be heard by the courts, he would not get a response. It was so hard for me to believe this and understand why our judicial system, especially Fairfax County judicial system, would not even adhere to his motion to be heard on a matter of jurisdiction. And that's what this vacate motion was about. So once he talked to me about it, I asked him to send it to me. Let me read what you have. And once I got it and read it, I said, my God, I can't believe what I'm reading. That the court said, we have no jurisdiction over this matter. And from that right there, and I continue to read, and it also says, what jurisdiction do I have? He says, well, we want you to do us a favor. So what court or what prosecutor needs to ask the court to do favors for? I mean, we have a judicial system that's supposed to work for everyone, not just one side. So actually what they were saying was, we don't care what the law is. We're asking this court to do us a favor outside the guidelines of the law. So as it goes on, and you can read, like he says on page 49.
Page 49.
It says, the circuit court, I think, is it 49 or 50? Yeah, I think it's 50. It says, what jurisdiction do I have? And then he says, well, but what happened was they sent him brought him from New York back here to Virginia to serve a warrant, meaning they didn't have a warrant at first. So they just brought him back based on what Darwin said. His picture matched something a person that they were looking for. So once they were in court, the court acknowledged that they didn't have jurisdiction over this matter, meaning it should have been thrown out right then. And I looked up jurisdiction. Jurisdiction simply states to right to have power or authority to administer justice by a hearing determined by the courts. So if they have no jurisdiction, they have no case. But they proceeded to have a trial, even though the court knew, or this judge knew, that he didn't have jurisdiction. And this was in Fairfax County again, the Honorable Judge Stuart Davis at the time in 1994. We don't know if he's still with us, alive, but this is the court and the judge that had this hearing on April the 20th, 1994.
And this is the document right here, page 50.
And that is the document. And for your viewers that could read it, it states that the court did not have jurisdiction over. And so once I read it, I says, I'm going to take this myself and see that it is submitted to the courts. So I took off on a Friday and drove down to Fairfax County Courthouse in Virginia to submit this document, February the 28th, 2020. Now, keep in mind
right here that we have on the screen.
That's part of the document, but it was a total motion to vacate the indictment and the case based on jurisdiction. And at that time, I guess we were in the midst of a pandemic, and so the courts were generally shut down. They really wasn't having a lot of courts. So I met the court, not the clerk, but the court security. So once you go into the office, you would stamp. You couldn't go into a court. You would stamp your paperwork and then just leave, because the courts was closed due to the pandemic, February 28th, 2020. So after doing that, I expected to hear from them. And I waited a couple of months. I didn't hear from them. And I says, let me call. I couldn't get through. So I personally went again. Now this was April the 16th, a couple of months after that, 2020, and submitted that same document again, motion to vacate, submitting the same exhibits, 1, 2, 3, and 4, to have this case heard. They were stamped, and the lady says, I will get a notice in the mail when this hearing would take place, because I requested to be there. So a month went by, I didn't hear from them. I called, they says, well, we have it on the docket, but it hasn't been heard yet. So I waited, and then I called. I think this was about somewhere in late May, and then they couldn't find it. They actually said they could not find the docket motion to vacate. So I got upset about that, because I had just called and they said I would get a notice about it.
Exactly.
And then I said, I'm going to go again. So for the third time, I left work going to Virginia just before the 4th of July upcoming weekend. This was July the 1st, 2020. And I went to the court.
Now I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there, Carlos. We're gonna get into let's get into another clip, another video, and of Derwin. We got 2 more left, so let's get into these, and then we're gonna come back right where you left off at. Here we go.
So I guess and you said that the first 3 warrants that they came with, your lawyer didn't let you come out of the back. And
right, he kept me back with a bullpen at.
And so those first 3 warrants were dismissed because they could not describe you.
Could not describe me at all. All they kept saying was, I look like somebody. The lawyer said, well, describe them. They could not do it.
And what's his lawyer name again?
They knew they had Stuart Rubin.
Stuart Rubin. Okay.
He told me that the court officers turned over my photograph to Virginia. But I listened to him at first because of what he did by keeping me in the back to protect me. But when he said he can't find my picture, I became skeptical of him.
Gotcha.
I don't think it was a court officer. I think it's him because his picture disappeared.
Okay, I got you. I'm just trying to figure out. Um, what else would you want Miss Peachy and everybody else to know? Miss Peachy Tea Time to know.
Um, basically, I'm relying on my paper to do my talking for me. There isn't much to say. There isn't much to do. I did all the research, studying, reading the dictionaries, decoding the dictionaries. I did whatever I had to do to get back because I know I was wrongfully incarcerated. And I whittled everything down to what y'all got right now.
All right. So the public defenders, what have they done trying to get you out? Have they been cooperative or?
No, they haven't. I wrote him and he got like he don't know me. He can't remember me. I wrote him about what he did. He got like he don't remember me. I wrote a Virginia State Bar. I was trying to file a grievance on him, and they denied me. Even with the transcript evidence, they denied me.
Okay. So do I have your permission to play this in case you're not able to call back at 9 o'clock when we're having a video conference?
Definitely.
Okay. Does Mr. Carlos Davis?
I'm just trying to keep it as short and terse as possible without a bunch of babbling, confusing people,
Correct. Also, does Mr. Carlos Davis have permission to talk on your behalf as well?
Definitely.
Well, let me ask you this: who has permission?
And Kai Harris.
And Kai Harris, and who else?
Shahi Omar. He's on the civil. He's the head of the civil division.
Okay.
Of this movement.
Does anybody else?
No.
Now I'm asking you about me.
Oh, Robbie Trapp, of course, my brother-in-law.
And I'm not trying to be funny. I just want to make sure that we have your blessings to talk concerning this matter.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very confident in you because you're in law school. You're studying this stuff. You see what time it is.
Got you. Man, well, we're going to do everything possible to communicate your wishes as far as what you would like to be known and heard as far as this case matter. Give me a second. I got to...
Let Peachy know that I'm exceedingly grateful for her taking the time out of her day to pick my matter up and expose it. Because I've been trying for decades and nobody can listen.
I definitely will.
I feel kind of sad. Yeah, I feel kind of sad after getting Mr. Davis to leave his job to cross state lines to help me out. Because he didn't believe at first what I was saying was true. That these people will not file paperwork or respond to me. But then he was shocked at the fact that courts don't do that. So what I say sounds absolutely outrageous. I feel bad about putting him through all that unnecessary back and forth. But now he's a witness. That's it.
I most definitely understand. Hold on for a second. I'm going to stop the recording. Give me 1 second.
All right. That was kind of touching at the end. Jason, that was a little touching at the end. Kai, that was a little touching at the end.
Definitely.
Trap, that was a little touching at the end.
Yes, ma'am, it was.
And Carlos and Shaheed, that was a little touching at the end.
It definitely is.
I want to give an applaud to Carlos. You've never even met this boy a day in your life.
Yeah, right.
And you're taking the time out of your work day to help him. And here your son is in here just as well, and you have to help him just as well. So I applaud you for that. We need more men like you out here that can
Absolutely.
help out. So I just
Yeah,
want to say,
and let me say this: they're there under the same circumstances, almost identical circumstances, coming from the same jurisdiction, Fairfax County, uh, Virginia. So it is not a mistake of what this judicial system is doing. It is deliberate that they are taking our young men, uh, building a case or fraudulently making a case to send them away for decades, and then when they understand what they have in their transcripts and see the judicial misconduct and try to respond with the motions or the petitions, they are denied, or not even denied. They are not even responding to them, as if to say, "Oh, your petition has no merit," or your petition was sent in wrong, or they just don't get anything. And then for them to tell me that they couldn't find the the motion that I handed it to them and was stamped, and I got a copy of it, that just does something
blows your mind.
to me.
Blows your mind.
And you don't have to know a person to understand that, hey, I sent this myself. So I made a statement. I said, I'm submitting this document again, and I want a court date or a docket date that I could be here for it. This clerk uh, took my paper, or took Darwin's papers, out of my sight and went somewhere in another room. Came back. She says, I could stamp them for you and you'll get a docket date in the mail. And I explained to her from detail from February that I submitted this, waited a month and a half. And then in April, I submitted this and I waited a month and a half. Now I'm here for the third time in July the 1st. I need a docket date. You stamp it and give me a prospective date that I should be back here. Generally, they give you a date within 30 days. It's a 30-day docket date that they have to respond. So she went again and says, excuse me. And I said, I need to speak with someone. So I was there. She was there. She had approached the chambers. And from what they were talking and looking at over the paperwork for about 5 minutes, and I'm just standing there. And then they came back and said, well, this case will not be heard.
Oh my
For
goodness.
a person to say my case cannot be heard or Darwin's case cannot be heard, for what reason? And because the only reason that I came up with is because what they read inside the document, meaning circuit court, we do not have jurisdiction. What jurisdiction do I have? And then they says something to the effect of, but they ask us to do us a favor. And what was that favor? Is it to sell one person out or to give one person away to wipe somebody else's record clean? We don't know. But to this date, we haven't had a hearing on this matter. The vacate motion for Derwin Osbourne for lack of jurisdiction. The
And how
same
long have you
scenario with my son. It was overturned and they still hasn't readdressed that issue. Now, back to Derwin Osbourne, I would like all your viewers to know Derwin is Derwin Osbourne, Osbourne. His number inmate number 176181. He's in Canton, Colorado. He was transferred from Virginia because his petitions were persistent. And then he had built cases on Red Onion for the abuse of him trying to have access to the courts and the so-called law library. So we don't know why he was transferred, but he was transferred. And for all your viewers, that is his name. Get your pen and paper and write it down. Again, his name is Derwin Osbourne. His number is 176181. He's in Canton, Colorado prison. He is not an inmate. This person is not an inmate. He is held as a hostage. And we must say that because of all the judicial misconduct. When you don't have jurisdiction over a person, you must let them go. If you don't have jurisdiction over a person, you have to ask the court for favors. What favors are there? Again, I'm going to point out something about the case. His case number or case matter was not transcribed. It was written in. And if you call about the case, they have no such case number of such. You can see it on the stamped documents that you received. It was written in. It's not stamped in like a court generally would have. It is written in. So that was another issue. That's not it. It would be
the first document, Peachy. It says 80911 right there.
Right here.
Yes, that's handwritten. That is handwritten. That is not an official court docket case. That was handwritten. Generally, when you get that, everything is typewritten in like you see it on all the other pages. Document, correct. So this case, and we're asking anyone that's out there that has any information on how to proceed or how to get this case back into the courts so the courts could address this issue. We're asking for all your viewers' help.
Yes.
So with that and the other issues about them bringing him back from New York, that was a problematic. The problem with that is he made a statement that they had a governor's warrant. How did the governor get the warrant as a governor's warrant prior to going through the steps of the police agency and the detective? Someone higher up had this done, and that was probably part of the favor. But we have no information on that. We just going on what is perspective.
Okay. Now, Trap. What do you say about all of this? You know, like Derwin said, you're working in this type of field, the law field, he said. So what do you feel about this? What's going on?
Everything, Miss Peach, I feel everything that the court did was erroneous. If you go back to, like Mr. Davis pointed out, if you go back to page 49, where it's talking about the grand jury, he said, Mr. Kidwell, the circuit court has asked me to set a trial date. They have asked us to do something, to do some things. You get upset and you do not want to do it. Are you willing to set a trial date? Mr. Kendall, yes, I get upset about the form of what they're asking you to do. So why would he even be upset? Why do you have to come together to try to do something? If you had evidence that would convict him of anything, you wouldn't need to ask any type of judge. You wouldn't have to collude with the prosecution, the judge, and the defense. All three parties colluded with each other. So Derwin never stood a chance in court. If you go to page 50, it says the court. I get upset about this, but they asked us to do it. I have no jurisdiction, but they asked us to do it. We tried to get along. Why? Why would you do that? You have no jurisdiction, but you're continuing to want to take this man's life and put him behind bars. If this was anybody else, would you
And
do
who are
this?
they trying to get along with?
Exactly.
Going down in there, Mr. Haran, on down on page 50. I might tell the court, just for the record, so Mr. Kidwell knows, this defendant has already been indicted by the grand jury. How was he indicted? How could you have indictments on everything else about this situation if you had to go to a whole nother state to get him? So I'm confused as how that happened prior to a court date in a trial. And then the court asks again, what jurisdiction do I have then at all? Mr. Haran, when they went to New York and brought him back from New York, they served a warrant on him. But what warrant did you have? It's like so many times that people will tell you, I have a warrant, we have a warrant, and don't really have one. So what did they really have to bring Derwin Osbourne back to Virginia? That was a lie in itself. So I just don't understand how the court and the officers of the court, even the police officers, are allowed to lie, to perjure themselves, to take advantage of our youth, and nothing is done to them. But if we in return lie to the courts or the police officers, we will be held in contempt or we'll be locked up or anything. So how can they naturally do this? So that's what I'm not understanding. That everything that they have done has showed that they lied. And not to be funny, I wonder who Mr. Haran is. That's the prosecutor. Right. Is it that Mr. Haran, could it be that Mr. Haran prosecuted other people, significant people, that they don't want them to look into the cases that he has prosecuted? Because if they look into Derwin Osbourne case, that means they had to look at any other case that he's ever prosecuted, and he could have lied or padded.
And keep in mind, he was the same prosecutor that prosecuted Lamont Douglas.
The DC.
Wow. And can I add something to that? After they had their trial, it was a question asked by the jury, and the question was, can we convict him solely on a testimony without physical evidence, linking him to any crime or linking him to the crime? Again, he says, this court will give you that answer. Can we convict him based solely on the testimony without physical evidence, linking him to the crime? So they had to ask that question. There was nothing linking him to the crime. So they had to ask, can we convict him solely on testimony without any evidence linking him to the crime? And then the judge would come back and says, Your Honor, Your Honor, I think from my observation over the years of practice, it gives them general answers and evasive answers or no answers, but specific answers to those kinds of questions or inquiries. So he never answered it. He never answered the question. But he says, yes, ultimately he can be convicted. And that's what they did.
But even then, right, if I get this right, based on Darwin's testimony in the call, correct, that even the people that did testify had everything wrong from the get-go, like how he looked, height, weight, all that dialogue was wrong from the get-go. So it's like we have to question you to make sure that the questions that we got from the people that's testifying is right. I was like, no, you don't. Because then that'd be like them grabbing me and be like, well, let's see. All right, well, he said he's about 6 foot. Well, no, I'm 6'4". Like, well, he's about 200. No, you know what I'm saying? But since they're close, he's the one to take the blame for it then. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's basically about it.
That's terrible. That is terrible.
That's exactly right.
So you would have to ask yourself, did the witness have something to gain by pointing her finger at Derwin Osbourne? So,
Right.
you know, with this whole thing, and we may never know, but I want to know, was she facing any criminal charges? Was she given that in order that chance to testify against him to help herself out? Because it seemed like everything in this case has been padded.
Right.
Correct.
Give us something, we give you something, right? You want your old life back? Now I've seen too many movies like that. You want your old life back? Tell us who it was. You know what I mean? She was like, anybody, right?
Mr. Shaheed, is there anything you want to say, Mr. Shaheed?
Yes, ma'am.
I said, is there anything you would like to say on this?
Yeah. Whole lot I like to say, matter of fact. But the essential thing that we see in this case, as we saw in Lamont Douglas' case, no lawyer. No lawyer. Simple as that. No lawyer. Douglas, Derwin, and Carlos' son, ain't no lawyer. If you got no lawyer, you ain't got no help. That's what it is. So it's simple as that. They ain't had no lawyer. So Derwin, he did something real slick. He said, y'all can't do nothing with, y'all can't prosecute me because y'all ain't got no right. Y'all ain't got no jurisdiction. Y'all don't have any right. And that's something real slick. That's something he pulled off without, it shocked them. And that's why he can't get no help in court, because he's telling them, y'all ain't got no right to even deal with me because y'all don't have no jurisdiction. Case closed. Now, if he had a lawyer, he needs a lawyer. And if he had a lawyer, he'll be arguing something different. You know, he'll be arguing something very, very different. Derwin has said, y'all ain't got no right to deal with me. How he get out there in Colorado? A lawyer will be able to answer him. But how you get out there in Colorado? He's from Virginia. How you get to Colorado? Interstate compact, interstate transportation compact. A program that Virginia uses to send people like Derwin, Lamont to different states where they can't argue their case in Virginia. Hard time arguing his case in Virginia. He's in Colorado. He can't even show up in Virginia. He had to have somebody else not him to deal with his case. You know, he needs a lawyer. That's what the case is about. He needs a lawyer. The lack of an attorney that got him where he's at right now. There's a whole lot that's happened in his life. The only time he's been at Red Onion, they abused this man. They, you know, all kinds of things that happened to him. They beat him up. They, you know, they put their hands on him. And so there's a lot of stuff going on. If he had a lawyer, that he would not probably be in prison right now.
Yeah. And that's the issue with not just Derwin, not just Lamont. This happens everywhere in our community. We can't afford lawyers. They want to charge us an arm and a leg, and we still got our own family that we got to take care of just as well. You know?
Yep. Yeah.
And they want to give us the defender.
So I guess what I hear you saying is that the public, we are the public that's paying for these court-appointed lawyers, or that's paying them. So they are not really representing us. That's the thing in a nutshell is what I hear you saying. The lawyers that are appointed to help indigent individuals are really not representing them and helping the courts send them to prison. That's what I got out of what you were just saying. And so saying that means that we must do everything we can to be at these court hearings or court dates when our indigent uh, individuals that has cases or cases has been put on them to be there to oversee how the courts um, proceed with these matters. Now, in this is blatant disregard of this man's rights, you know, and now he can't get back in court to exert petitions to gain his own freedom. He's been blackballed from the courthouse. His cases can't be heard. And anytime that they tell me they can't find the case that I filed for him, that's telling me we don't care about the senators and the lawmakers. This is Fairfax County. We do what we want to do. That's what it's actually saying. And we are here now to say we need a petition made in reference to Derwin Osbourne. And if you have to call the governor, if you have to call the senators to get this, to interrupt their day, to get this petition filed, that's what we're asking the audience to do. Again, Derwin Osbourne, he's in Canton, Colorado prison. His number is 176-181. For those of you who would like to take the time out and write or give some assistance, that's his name and that's his number. And Colorado State Prison.
There's something else we can do also.
And what is that, Shane?
Miss Speaker. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a government agency called U.S. Department of Justice. U.S. Department of Justice. One of the people that I write when I get letters from inmates, I also write them because they have been appointed by the President of the United States to represent people like Derwin and Lamont. Call them U.S. Department of Justice. There's a lady that works for the U.S. Department of Justice. She's been appointed Assistant U.S. Attorney General. Her name is Miss Kristen Clark. Now think about this now. The director of the Virginia Department of Corrections, his name is Harold Clark. This woman's name is Christine Clark, Kristen. When I found out that she was Assistant U.S. Attorney General, I wrote her a letter because I had been writing her letters before I found out what her last name was. I had been writing her letters from inmates. When I get a letter from an inmate, I send her a copy, and I send different people a copy who have some authority to help their case. When I found out that her last name was the same last name as Harold Clark, who's the director of the Virginia Department of Corrections, I sent her a special letter. Let me read it to you. It's dated November 19th, 22. Dear Miss Clark, please be informed I have enclosed a letter for you from the inmate referenced above. His name is Anthony Price. He was in a Rappahannock Regional Jail at the time. First of all, let me tell you who I am, what my intent is. My name is Shahi Omar. I do this even though I believe you already know through the words of someone else. I am 72 years old. I am a 72-year-old African-American man born and raised in Roanoke, Virginia. I'm educated and experienced with a master's degree in criminal justice. I have worked for the Department of Corrections for a few months, got set up with drugs in my office, mainly by staff that didn't want me working there because I'm an offender, a Muslim, and most of all, I think in favor of inmates in cases of dispute between inmates and non-inmates. I've also worked in the system for several nonprofit agencies, one called TAP, other one is spinoff from TAP called Virginia Cares. Today, after working for 20 years against the abuse of inmates by racist correctional officers, call themselves white nationalists, I finally have my nonprofit my own nonprofit agency called All Inmates Lives Matter. And I give them the license number in Virginia Internal Revenue. Since 2004, based on the work that was being done by an inmate named Kevin Rashid Johnson, this inmate back in 1984 and 85 had posted on the internet a list of inmates that had been brutally physically attacked by white racists, Red Onion, Watersbridge, blah, blah, blah. I'm well known in all the correctional facilities in Virginia by most all inmates that have been violated. Are being violated, and with all those that have filed grievances being attacked. Well known by the Muslim community in the system, all the advocacy groups that call themselves working with inmates that are being abused. Secondly, my system of operation goes like this. I have a brochure that is posted somewhere in most facilities, in the hands of most inmate legal experts. Some inmate knows my telephone number, my address, and some inmates in touch with me on a regular basis. Upon receiving a phone call from an inmate who describes the violation to me, I tell the inmate to put it on paper. Upon receiving a call from a family member, I tell them to have the inmate to put it on paper. Upon receiving letters, I make a copy of the letter, send it to several organizations such as ACLU, a news report, etc. I repeat, out of what the inmate tells them that happens to him, including his name, resident, what happened, and my response is in the mail. Third, I'm getting 5 to 10 letters a week. While my name is well known, most officers facilities like Red Onion, Watersbridge, River North, a few other jails in Sussex, most officers try to stand in the way of an inmate writing me. They know they have committed a mistake, and they know I'm going to report it to someone. Most staff that put their hands on an inmate do not want it known, but at the same time, most don't really care. In most cases, if the inmate does not exhaust all of his grievances, officers really don't care. In order for an inmate to get in federal court, you have to exhaust 3 steps through a grievance process. Once they do that, they can get into federal court. I talk about my son. Then I say it in the closing letter. I say, now most people like you that work with agencies like the Justice Department, now supposed to hold the congressional officers accountable for justice to be served on officers that brutalizing me. I say, do your job. Having closed this letter, and these inmates are in hopes that it was something about their life they are experiencing. Finally, this letter from inmate Anthony Price spells out the life they are living in Greenville jail, and this letter is just one of about 10 inmates. When she got this letter, I get a letter back from her. Let us say, you contact the Department of Justice August 23rd, 2022. After careful review of what you submitted, we have decided not to take any further action on your complaint. What we did, team members from the Civil Rights Division reviewed the information you submitted. Based on our review, we have decided not to take any further action on your complaint. We receive several thousand reports of civil rights violations each year. We unfortunately do not have the resources to take direct action for every report. This letter was sent to me. It's not signed by anybody. It looks like something that some teenager or some high school senior would put together. And this letter was sent to me September 1st, 2022. Now I'm getting letters from the U.S. Department of Justice telling me about the special litigation section that handles cases. They want to review some of my cases. If we can get the public to write the U.S. Justice Department, Attorney General, who was appointed by President of the United States, and ask them to review cases that are sent to them by my organization or by Peaches Tea Time, and have them on a program to answer questions about why come they are not prosecuting correctional officers or other people who violate the rights of our citizens. Like this lawyer that's going across the country, he's a civil rights lawyer, I forget his name, we know him, because he's on every case that comes up in the United States that deals with police and inmates, etc. We know his name. I forget his name, but he's
Ben
on
Crump.
TV. You know.
How about Ben Crump?
Yes. Yes.
That's Uncle Ben. That's Uncle Ben. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I sure appreciate you and giving us this information. That's good information for us to know, y'all. It's good information for us to know. Shout out to Shaheed. Definitely. Now, we are coming to the end of the show. So before we leave, I just want to play a little video of encouragement for Carlos, for Kai, and for Trap. Okay, I just want to show just a little bit of encouragement. It's gonna lead into our Wednesday commercial, and then we'll be back to see what Carlos has to say before we end the show. Trap has to say, and then I have a special question for Kai just as well. Okay, because we have to remember Kai was only 8 years old. So when we come back, Kai, after this commercial break, I got something I gotta ask you. So this is just a piece of encouragement for y'all, okay? Here we go.
Even though your winds blow, I want you to know you cause me no Lord, 'cause I'm safe in his arms. Even though your rain falls, I can still make this call. Let there be peace. Now I can say, go away. I command you to move today because of faith. I have a brand new day. The sun will shine, and I will be okay. That's what I told the storm. I told the storm. Oh yes, I did. Storm, you can't last. Storm, you can't last. Go away. Go away. I command you to move. Let's go. When God speaks, you don't have a choice in the matter. And that's what I told. What I told the storm. Oh yes, I did. Storm, you can't last. Go away. Go away. I command you to move. When you don't have a choice in the matter. And that's what I told. What I told the storm. Hey, whatever storm you may be going through in your life on today, I want you to stand and speak to your storm and say, I told. I don't care what it is. My God is greater than that storm. He's able to pull you out. Say, I'm more than a conqueror through Jesus Christ. He's gonna bring me out all right. Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Hey, y'all. It's your girl, the missus with the kisses, baby. Mwah. Thank y'all so much for joining me and Jason tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if we got a special guest, thank you, special guest. I thank you for coming and sharing your story. But y'all make sure y'all watch us each and every Wednesday, okay? Each and every Wednesday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Where you said? You said where? Roku TV, Facebook, YouTube, and also Twitch, baby. Twitch. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Peachy Tea Time spelled with a Y. And make sure you also follow me on all the other platforms just as well. Thank you so much for joining us each and every Wednesday, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Back to the show we go, baby. We going back. Bye. All right, we are back. I want to start with Kai. Kai, you was so young. Oh, shoot. Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Kai can't hear me. She can't hear me. Okay. Okay, Kai, we go. Come down, and come back up. Okay, she gonna come down and come back up. So we'll move on to Trap then. Trap, in situations like this, I'm sure you're gonna see a lot of this. And
Yes,
what
ma'am.
you're going through and what you're dealing with as far as your new what is your position? What do you do?
I'm in school right now, Miss Peach. I won't say what school I'm in, but I'm in
Don't tell us
school.
what school. Don't tell us what school. But you in school right now. How are you preparing yourself for stuff like this?
Well, Miss Peachy, out of 45 years of life, I have seen all types of injustices. I know I haven't seen as much as Mr. Davis or Mr. Omar, but this is just an everyday part of life. What I have learned and that I'm gonna have to try to correct, but the courts did go back and correct it. It was at one point when 5 grams of crack cocaine that's used in the minority community carried the same amount of weight as 500 grams of cocaine, which is used in the Caucasian community. Which means that a half a kilo of cocaine carried the same amount of weight as 5 grams of crack. So we have to find out in a minority community how to battle this. So that's why I went to school. How do we teach our youth to better themselves and not want to get caught up in the system? Just in my own opinion, the system is the new age indentured servant or slavery tactic and methods.
Yeah.
So it would have been over $1 billion industry. I got to do something to make sure that one of my children don't end up in that system.
Man.
My nieces, my nephews, and even those kids that are in the street, because we got brought to a land that wasn't ours and put into a system that we have nothing to do with, and are so-called free men in the Constitution that we know nothing about. So that's why I'm in school. Like I said, I won't say what school I'm in, but I'm here to try to right a wrong. Like King say, I might not see the promised land, but I'm gonna do what we got to do to get there, and make sure other people get there.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out. Shout out to Kai for her good husband. Shout out to Kai for her good husband. Now, Kai, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay. You were very, very young. Very young when this occurred. You did not hear the tape of your brother speaking on everything that happened and everything. So, of course, I want to definitely ask you right now, how do you feel?
How do I feel? Sometimes I feel like we're fighting a losing battle. And I also feel like I have to continue to stay strong. We all have to continue to stay strong. We are nothing but pawns in a game that people, all they care about is gain. That is it. When I think about this case, I think about Khalif Browder. He was, I believe, 16 years old, walking on the street with his friends, and the police pulled up on them, arrested him, and said they look like somebody. They held that boy for 3 years. For 3 years. Because he looked like somebody. Never had a case, never had a trial, and then let him go. After 3 years of his life, and he wound up committing suicide. This is something they do every day. Every day. They ripping our men from our families, our women from our families. destroying the family dynamic. And it's all for their gain. All for their personal gain. Let me talk about 3 decades, y'all. 3 decades. I'm going to be 40 years old soon. 3 decades he been locked in this system. He's been beaten. He's had his neck broken in jail. He's been stabbed by guards in jail. This is real. I saw it myself. Beaten. I saw him at Red Onion State Prison. They would not tell me where he was, and I decided I was going to get in my car. My son was 4 months old, and I drove 10 hours because I said, something's not right. My brother doesn't not talk to me. And when I saw him, his hair was ripped from his head. His face was swollen and his eye was bloodshot. And he picked up his shirt and showed me the incision that they had stitched. I could tell something was wrong when I showed up because everybody seemed panicked. But you had no documents to stop me from seeing him. And not long after that, he wound up in Colorado. This is what they do to our men, our women. You put him in a system for your gain and threw him away. And you knew it was wrong, so you put him away so he'll never be seen and heard from again. They can't afford for him to get out, and they can't afford for this story to be told because they know what they did was wrong. He has taken this before many judges. We have the documents. He has showed it to them, all of that. And they say, oh, your premise is incorrect. We don't have jurisdiction over that. So you know it's wrong, but you're choosing to do nothing about it. Well, the judge that put him there had no jurisdiction. So why can't you call in the same favors and do what you know is right? Y'all got together and did what was wrong. But you don't want to stand for what's right. It is a corrupted system. And they want us to believe that this system is for us and there's justice in this system, and it is not. Not for us. Not for us. But we're going to continue this fight, not just for him, for all our people that are locked in this system and thrown away. I want to say, continue to have hope, continue to tell your story, and continue to reach out. Someone will find you one day, and if they don't find you, they will find the ones that come after you. It's bigger than us because he may not reap the benefits of what we're doing right now, but someone will. And that makes it all worth it for me. That makes it all worth it for me. I want to say I thank you for your platform. I thank you for what you're doing, because let me tell you, I done paid thousands of dollars. Done went here, there, talk to people, and for money, they take your money and say, oh, it's nothing we can do about it. And you doing all of this out of the kindness and the goodness of your heart. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. That means so much. So much. We need more people like you to stand up for people that look like us. You giving us a voice. And I thank you. And keep doing what you're doing. Don't ever let nobody deter you, because what you're doing matters. It matters to us, and it matters to all the people out there that need a voice. You're their voice. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, God.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and do it anyways. Shout out to Trap's wife, Kai. I had it all planned out before I started shedding some tears, so I had to go and say it anyways. But Kai, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. It really does. I've never been in you guys' situation. I have a brother who's in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. But we know he's gonna get out. You know what I'm saying? He's never done anything that we knew he's not going to get out, or we felt like he's not going to get out. You know what I'm saying? So my heart goes out to you all. It really, really does. We are going to go ahead and get a petition going. Anna has already agreed. She's supposed to be on here tonight, but she has already agreed to do a petition for Lamont. So I'm gonna go ahead and add Derwin onto the list just as well. You two guys are the only two people that's on the list. It's just the two of you. So we're gonna get this petition started. Just like I told you all last week with Lamont, that we're gonna send it out to everybody's messenger. If I got your email address, I'm gonna send to your emails. Jason's gonna send it out to his people. I'm gonna send it back to Kai. Well, Kai's gonna have a copy. Trap's gonna have a copy, so they can send it out to their viewers and everybody that they knows. We're gonna get them all together. Once we get them all together, we will go ahead and put them in the right hands. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. So, is there anything else, Carlos and Mr. Shaheed, that you both would like to say before we end the show?
Yes. Again, in this case of Derwin Osbourne, there has been 3 motions to vacate the proceedings of lack of jurisdiction, uh, and all 3 cases of submission, we have not heard back from the courts on any one of them, which is a violation right there of due process by the courts. Now, like I said, if in fact we colluded or we asked favors from anyone in the judicial system, that right there would cause a felon. So these judiciaries who asked for favors committed a felony, and they need to be brought to justice. And in fact, when you can't have access to the courts after violating someone's rights because you might get in trouble, then therefore we must take it to another level, maybe the federal courts, or maybe bring a lawsuit against the state courts in federal. So if anyone's out there that could assist in this, and just take time to contact Peachy Time for the documents that we presented. Only these few pages, but we have the full transcript. So we can get these courts to look at this case and do justice by this case of no jurisdiction, but they proceeded to find this man guilty and send him away. He's already done 30 years, and that's 30 years too much. How much longer are you going to dig yourself in a deeper hole, Fairfax County, Virginia? So with that, we would like to see a petition like you said you were going to do, and we need the people to stand up. There's other people that's in the same shoes as Mr. Osbourne. We would like to see those people on this petition and then stand up and let's move forward and take it to the Fairfax County judicial system and demand a hearing on this case, even if we have to call the governor, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, and get on the phone and ask why him being the governor letting this type of thing go on in the Fairfax County courthouse. So with that, again, Peachy, I thank you so much. We reached out to several platforms, but you were the one that took on our plight, and we say thank you again.
You're so welcome. You are so welcome. I want to read off my mom's comment, Mama Peach. She said, my brother was given 66 years in prison without parole, and he did 37 years, and he did not kill anyone. She just put but he did not kill anyone. We kept fighting for him, and lawyers robbed us out of our money. But God fixed it to set him free out of Louisiana prison. So that's just some encouraging words just as well. Don't give up. Don't stop fighting. are you guys willing to let people know where they can find you at on social media? Of course, you all know you can always reach me if you want to reach out to these individuals so that they can come on your platform just as well. Because that's what we try to do is try to get other platforms to reach out. Because the more people that know about this story, that's when pressure start getting applied. So I really, really hope and pray that others reach out just as well. But again, we are going to do our part by getting this petition started just as well. Mr. Shaheed, is there anything you want to say before we end the show? Because I sure forgot about you. Oh, you on mute, Mr. Shaheed. Hold on, let's take you off of mute. Okay,
I hope you know, this PGT time, I hope you know that you are the answer to my prayer. To get on TV, and talk to people, millions of people across America about what's happening in Virginia at Red Onion State Prison, Waters Ridge, River North, and Sussex Warren is an answer to a prayer. This is just the beginning. I hope that you will let us come back on here and talk about some more inmates, because we need some help. And you are the help, because you're letting us talk to people. And there's a whole lot we can do. We just ain't talking about, I got some answers to some problems that we got. And so don't think that we ain't giving up. Ain't nobody talking about giving up, going nowhere. We just starting. And as simple as that, we just starting. So we started back in 2004, and we ain't going nowhere. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And for you and for Carlos, or anybody that's watching out there, if you know someone in these type of situations that's incarcerated, you believe that your family member should be out and not be locked up, please reach out to us. Reach out to us. We don't just do services for people that has murdered victims in their family. No, we do it all. We do it all. Now don't come over here talking about, can we show y'all cooking some food in the no. It's all about crime. Crime. Okay? Crime. Had to make sure I get that out the way. Jason be like, the missus, you so loud. Jason came to visit. Jason was like, oh, it's not just on TV. It's in real life too. It's in real life. But I love y'all so much. Jason, is there anything you want to say before we leave tonight?
Again, I think everyone said it too as well. Thank you for you guys' time and your truth. Getting up here and being so vulnerable isn't the easiest thing to do. So I commend you all for being able to do that. And I'm gonna say this, Trap, I'm gonna have to talk to you, because whatever you doing to look 45 and look 25, I need that recipe, bro. And you going through law school. And you going through law school. Send that over here, man. Send it.
Mr. Jason, I'll be 46 on Friday.
See, happy birthday, brother. Lord,
Jason, do that. The sound. What's the birthday sound? That one.
Happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. Nonetheless, though, man, it is a blessing that you are not only doing this for others, but you have taken this time in your, your second part of life to do this. Because, I'm saying, most people, by the time they're at the beloved age you are, have already started a career in love life. So it seems like you're taking a second part to really go after and give hope to a lot of people that may not have that opportunity or get caught in that system. So we commend you, and I thank you for that. But not only that, man, this is not about me. It's not about what we're doing here. This is about the people that we want to get up out of here. So I'm going to put this number up. Derwin Osbourne, ID number 176181. If you guys can help by any means possible to get this man seen in front of the world, please do so. This is how you'll find him. This is his inmate number. This is his name. For me, to be in jail for over 3 decades off of hearsay, that's crazy. And then everyone to keep swiping up it under the rug. This is, I feel like one of my kids, swiper no swipe type of deal, right? Like we gotta get my man's home. You feel me? Like he needs to at least see the new iPhone or something. You feel me? So let's do our due diligence and utilize our resources, because we're gonna do that here on PGT Time. And I'm also, put my other platform, CTV Radio, in front of that as well to get as much traction on that, because it's man. Nah, dog, that just don't sit right to me to be gone that long and not have reasons for it. You feel? So tap in with us and let's make a change as much as possible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jason.
Yes. Well, we are about to get out of here, you guys. Again, thank you all so much for trusting me and Jason with your family story. Again, we're going to get that petition started and going. We are asking that you guys do come back in the future, and, just give us an update and everything. Carlos, you the same. And if y'all have any more people, Carlos and Shahid, please get at me. Get at me and we can bring them on up. Okay. We'll schedule a date. All right. Well, y'all, thank y'all. We finna go. Please make sure you tune in. Tune in on Friday. Me and my husband, we ain't been around in about a couple weeks. We had a whole lot going on, all these different awards shows and parties and stuff. So make sure y'all tune in on Friday for our love and relationships. Just as well. Jason, what is you laughing for?
I like how you slipped that in there. All these award shows and everything.
Congrats.
You better say something. Look, we better say something.
You gotta let them know.
Yes, we gotta let y'all know. So y'all, we are out of here. I love y'all, and I see y'all on Friday, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And please, my guests, please stay just for about 3 minutes, okay? After I end the broadcast. Here we go.
Much love.
Peachy Tea Time is for the culture. Tune in every Friday for Peachy Talks edition, where the misses and pulleys show crime in our Black community and discuss love and relationships. Special surprise pop-up guests. Tune in each and every Friday. Check out the flyer for showtimes.
Return, please return. Please return, please return, please return.